Holy crap, I made 300 billion overnight. Just when I was ready to kick back and live the easy life, I suddenly came across a post my wife had just made. Happy 18th birthday, baby. I felt relieved for a second. My daughter was finally an adult. But the second I opened the photo, I froze. The girl in my wife's arms was a complete stranger. What shocked me even more was that this girl was leaning against the Ferrari I bought for my daughter. And my real daughter was kneeling there in a maid outfit serving tea. I instantly tried to take a screenshot to save the evidence, but my wife had already blocked me. In a panic, I immediately called my wife back home and demanded, "Who is that girl in the picture? Why is our daughter dressed like a maid?" "What are you talking about?" My wife's voice suddenly turned tense. "That is our daughter in the photo. She just thought I took a bad picture and made me delete it." After I hung up, my heart sank. As her father, how could I ever mistake my own daughter for someone else? Something was seriously wrong. Whoever was hurting my daughter, I was going to make them pay. 7 minutes later, I was on a flight back home. By the time my plane landed at my private airport, it was 3 a.m. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. I went straight home with my bodyguards. The whole villa neighborhood was dead quiet. I stood at my front door and typed in the code out of habit. Chow Kiao's birthday, 080626. Wrong password. The electronic lock gave a cold little beep. I frowned and tried again. Same result. "What the hell?" I muttered. Then I entered my wedding anniversary with Bai Ningbing. Still wrong. I had installed this lock right before I went abroad, and I had set it to Chow Kiao's birthday on purpose. I told a bodyguard to climb over the wall and open the gate from the inside. I rushed to the front door, tried to unlock it with my key, and realized the lock had been changed. Just as I was wondering whether I should break a window, a light suddenly came on upstairs. "Who's there?" A girl's voice came from upstairs. My heart skipped a beat. It was unfamiliar, definitely not Chow Kiao's. Under the moonlight, the girl shrieked, "Security! Somebody get over here! There's a thief trying to break in!" I stood there with my hands in my pockets. "Then why don't you tell me whose house this is?" "This is the Fang family home." She lifted her chin smugly. "I'm warning you, my dad is the chairman of Fang Group." I almost laughed. Funny, my last name is Fang too. "Ha!" She spat out the window. "A broke loser like you thinks he gets to use the name Fang? I'm calling my dad right now to deal with you." After my bodyguards forced the door open, I ran straight to Chow Kiao's room upstairs. The moment I pushed the door open, my blood ran cold. Chow Kiao's room had been completely cleared out. The wall no longer had her favorite paintings. Instead, it was covered with photos of that stranger. The desk was full of someone else's makeup. And lying on Chow Kiao's princess bed, the one that should have been hers, was that same girl from the photo. "Who said you could come in here?" She shot upright. Not only was she not scared, she pointed at me like she owned the place. "This is my room, who the hell are you?" I yanked the blanket off her, my voice shaking the windows. "What are you doing in my daughter's room?" She jumped up and shoved a finger right in my face. "This is my house." I grabbed her by the shoulder and slammed her against the wall. "Cut the crap, tell me where Chow Kiao is." Xiao Yu kicked and struggled, but there was still a twisted grin on her face. Right then, 5 or 6 security guards rushed in, and the one in front pointed at me and yelled, "Hey, let go of Miss Xiao Yu, you got a death wish or what?" I let out a cold laugh. "You really want to side with this fake?" A heavy-set maid screamed, "What fake? Miss Xiao Yu is the Fang family's daughter." So the stranger's name was Xiao Yue. She took the chance to break free, hid behind the guards, and lifted her chin smugly again. I was furious. Wow, a full-on identity swap, and you still dare pretend to be my daughter, Fang Yuan's daughter? Now who is going to tell me where Qiao Kiao is? I might even consider not pressing charges. Just then, a thin, middle-aged maid pushed her way out from the back of the crowd. She raised a trembling hand and said, "I know where Qiao Kiao is." Xiao Yu's face changed instantly, and she screamed, "Wang Ma, don't you dare!" Wang Ma lowered her head, but her voice was firm. "Miss Qiao Kiao is at the boarding school in South City. I've wanted to quit this job for a long time. You people have gone way too far." With that, she ripped off her apron and turned to leave. I stopped her. "You don't need to leave. They're the ones who should be thrown out. From now on, you're the head housekeeper here. Get the car, we're picking up my daughter right now. As for the rest of you, when I get back, we're settling this slowly." Xiao Yu was still cursing. "Just wait till my parents get back. Crushing you will be as easy as stepping on an ant." By the time I got to the boarding school in South City, it was breakfast time. From a distance, I saw a group of students gathered around a corner of the cafeteria. Sitting in the middle was my Kao Kiao. For 1 second, I felt relieved. I thought maybe my daughter had friends. But the moment I got closer, my blood instantly froze. Qiao Kiao's tray was piled with chicken bones, fruit peels, and used napkins. Qiao Kiao kept her head down. Her thin shoulders trembled slightly, but she silently picked up her chopsticks. That's when I noticed her school uniform had been washed nearly white, and there were bruises on her wrists. I forced down my rage and gently touched her shoulder. She flinched all over, ducked her head even lower, and spoke in a tiny voice. "Sorry." My voice shook. "Qiao Kiao, it's Dad." She suddenly looked up. Her dirty little face showed shock at first, and then tears came pouring out. A blonde-haired boy at the same table sneered. Oh, Fang Kiao Kiao, your driver showed up. Another girl said sarcastically. Weren't you the rich Fang family princess? Then why does your dad dress like some construction worker? I looked down at my dusty clothes and suddenly laughed. Kid, this construction worker outfit costs 168 grand. Then I pulled Xiao Kiao to her feet, shielded her behind me, and flipped the entire table over. Plates and bowls smashed to the floor, and soup and food splashed all over that group. My new shoes. Xiao Kiao grabbed my sleeve in fear. Dad, let's go, please. A boy with an earring stepped in our way. Go? You think you can hit people and just walk away? Fang Xiao Kiao, your dad's got guts. The whole cafeteria started crowding in, shouting all at once. Broke loser, who are you trying to fool? Sister Xiao Yu already said it. She's a fake. Xiao Kiao was shaking all over with tears streaming down her face. Dad, let's go, please. I pulled Xiao Kiao into my arms and gently wiped the tears from her face. Silly girl, why are you crying? I looked around the room, my voice suddenly rising. All of you, listen up. My daughter, Fang Yuan's daughter, was born to be treated like royalty. Xiao Kiao tugged nervously at my sleeve. Dad! I smiled at her. Today I'm going to show you what a real slap in the face looks like. I pulled out my phone and called my assistant, old Liu. Lock this school down right now. Get that bastard Wang Deifa over here. I want to ask him face to face what kind of school he's been running all these years. The guy with the earring burst out laughing. Sure, keep acting like a nobody like you can actually call in backup. He turned to his friends and said, he even dares say the school board chairman's name? This old man is really committed to the act. Right then, a stir broke out at the cafeteria entrance. Xiao Kiao's homeroom teacher, Ms. Li, walked in with a male student. Ms. Li adjusted her glasses and said in a mocking voice, well, isn't this our star student, Fang Xiao Kiao? So now you've brought a parent in to back you up? The boy stood there with his hands in his pockets, looking completely dismissive. With grades like hers, it doesn't matter who she brings. She came in dead last on the last monthly exam. How embarrassing. My hands shook as I held up Xiao Kiao's scarred hands and turned to the teacher. My daughter won the City Math Olympiad 3 years ago. She passed level 10 in piano. How did she end up dead last? Is this what you call teaching? Ms. Li looked completely speechless. Then that boy stepped right up to me and said provocatively, Mister, do you know why your daughter has no friends here? Because she's a liar. She's always bragging about how rich her family is, and she can't even afford a new pair of shoes. I forced down my rage and pointed at the boy as I asked, Kiao Kiao, sweetheart, who is he? Kiao Kiao's body visibly trembled. Her eyes darted away, her lips quivered, and she couldn't get a word out. That reaction told me everything.